As a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your sex life?
I'll give it a 8 or 9 maybe.
If I were to be honest,
Please be honest.
I'd say 8.5 or 9.
What would make it a 10?
Probably just try something different. I guess like not always do the same position or like the same foreplay, role play, whatever it is. Like something different, I guess. Maybe a little longer, like more.
I would say I like role play, low key. Like I would like the foxtails.
Yeah.
I would do like some foxtail, like some shit like that. Some tie up, some acting, a little bit of acting involved.
Have y'all tried toys like restraints or impact?
We tried the rose. The rose is cool,
Like the rose vibrator.
Yeah.
So far, that's
Yeah.
all we've tried.
Yeah, that's all we try. Like, because.
But tying up is nice. I get tied up. Like, I'd do that.
You like the red ball in your mouth?
Not the red ball, but like something. Yeah, I'd do that.
I would do that. Maybe that's like one new fantasy I discovered. You never know. So, I would think it's like we've taken it like pretty traditional. Maybe it's time now to like spice it up.
Venture out.
What advice do you have?
All right. Welcome to another episode of Both Sides of the Bed, where we talk all things sexual liberation
And sexual exploration.
And today, we're going to talk about how to level up your sexual relationships. Oh, I like that title. That's better than the title we originally had.
Yeah.
I'm hyped today, too. I'm hyped.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We've been working. We've been collabing. Things have been growing. This channel has been growing. The people have been talking to us. Shout out to Horrible Decisions. Shout out to the Fun-Sexual. Shout out to Cocktails. It's been great collaborating with them over the last few weeks. We were on Horrible Decisions. That was an amazing episode, an amazing experience working with those ladies. Then we had the Family Affair with the Fun-Sexual.
Yeah.
We both were on each other's podcast, and it's been great. And then we rounded things out with Cocktails. From the A. They definitely know how to turn up.
Hell yeah, they do.
definitely
And they
do.
had their live show. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'm ready for the live show. They inspired the hell out of me. Yeah, for sure. And everyone from there that came here to be with us, thank you for all our new listeners. We're really appreciative of y'all. Y'all been in the comments. Y'all been in our DMs. Y'all been emailing us. Y'all been hitting us up. So we just feeling the love, and we're so inspired and ready to really bring an amazing episode to y'all today. Today's episode is a highly requested episode.
It sure is.
There's been a lot of people since even before we started, when we first decided that we wanted to even get into this, a lot of people would talk to us about, and ask us the question, well, how can I bring my partner into the things that I want to do? How do I bring this up to my partner? I want to do more things sexually. How do we have threesomes? How do we have that conversation?
Yeah.
And y'all know it's all about the conversation.
It's all about the communication.
So that's what we're going to do today. And I really think that y'all are going to really get a lot out of this, especially if this is something new for you. So kick back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the ride.
So, we like to open things up with a sex fact.
Yes.
So what sex fact do we have for today?
Today's sex fact is sex generally improves relationships, but how important it is depends on the individual couple. Many research studies have demonstrated a strong link between a good sex life and a happy overall relationship. Sexual satisfaction contributes to a relationship satisfaction.
I love this one because I think it points out the fact that everyone's different and everyone's interest in sex is different, and so it doesn't matter how much or how little sex that you're having. If it's truly satisfactory for what you need in your relationship, it's all good. But as long as you're meeting that threshold, it seems like as long as you're getting there, then you can have a fully well-rounded, satisfied relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also highlights the importance of sex in a relationship. Whether your satisfaction gauge is lower than others is irrelevant. Just having a healthy and happy sex life for you and the relationship you're in, it's everything. And I think a lot of people, I don't know, I think there are people out there who act like sex isn't that important, but sex is. It's everything. It's a way to connect. It's a way to release. It just balances you hormonally. Sex is great. Have more sex.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a few people say, right now, I'm in grind mode, I'm in hustle mode, or I'm prioritizing the family, or, whatever other number of things that could come up. And as valid as those things are, and as important as we need to prioritize those things, your loving, intimate relationship with your partner is obviously a priority for you. You're going to be with this person for the significant future.
Yeah.
So sex is important. It is. Like, let's just not bullshit. Sex is important for everybody in one way, shape, or form. So let's just cut the shit. Let's all be real with ourselves. We all value sex on a high level. And so let's get that. There's no reason why we shouldn't have that.
Also, especially if you're in a long-term relationship or you decide that you're with someone who's your life partner, fuck them. Like, enjoy that connection, that bond, that connection, that healing, that just release. It's everything. And it really does, as the sex pact has stated, it really does change the satisfaction in the relationship. And when you're satisfied in that way hormonally, you're able to amplify in so many other areas of your life. Like, if you look, I wish there was a survey, there probably is, I'll look it up. Just like correlating between a good sex life and the success you're having. Just like when you're balanced there and just happy there, everything else is gonna fall into fucking place.
100%.
At least my opinion.
100%. So that's what we're getting into today.
Yeah.
We finally get to really dive into the specifics on how to talk to your partner about sex. You know, so this is really good for people who might even be single, who may have casual sex partners or may have someone they're interested in starting to have sex with, how to broach those conversations, how to communicate what your desires are, find out what their desires are in a comfortable, enjoyable way. Or for those who are already in relationships, you might be accustomed to doing things a certain way with your partner right now, but you know, deep down, like, you know, this is cool, but I really want to add all these other things to the bedroom. Or you may know this is not okay. We are struggling. I am not happy. And, you know, and instead of ending the relationship, there's a lot of things that you can do to actually enhance it and go right for it. So we're going to go right into it. That's what we're going to talk about today. And we also going to do it today too. So stick around to the end of the episode. We're going to have a sex blueprint form that we're going to go through with y'all, and then we're going to answer it ourselves at the end. So this is going to be a great episode. Grab your pen and paper.
Absolutely. And us being a couple who has a really healthy and really happy sexual relationship, there's always room for growth. So those out there who is just like, you know, my sex is a 10 and it can't get any higher, there is such thing as 11 out of 10. I want 11 out of 10 sex. So let's get into it.
So let's go into the steps, because I think, you know, these conversations can be touchy, especially if they are newer. Well, actually, I guess they can be touchy in different scenarios. If it's new, you don't know how this person is going to react because you may not truly know who they are yet.
Exactly. And if it's older, if it's a relationship you've been in, you may assume what the reaction may be. So that just may prevent you as well.
Right. Or y'all just haven't had a conversation about sex in years. And so this is weird, random. Why the hell are you talking to me about sex? We haven't talked about sex in 3 years. We do our little once or twice a month thing and then that's it. You know, so that can be nerve-wracking to approach your partner with your sexual desires, that you come in left field with it. They've never heard you talk about this before. Where is this coming from? You know, so we're going to navigate that conversation now. So let's go through everything that you need to do step by step. So first, number one, hands down, you need to be crystal clear on what it is that you want. You know, there may be room for growth always, but you want to be clear on what it is that you want if you're going to have a conversation with somebody and be able to articulate that with them.
Yeah, and also just being clear and knowing what you want for yourself, it amplifies in your mind, like, I know exactly what I want, and now the next step is just figuring out how to ask for it. And it just makes it a lot easier, especially if you just list it out of like, okay, step 1, figure out what you want. Step 2 becomes a lot easier once step 1 is done.
Yeah, definitely. So a few ways that can help you get crystal clear on what it is that you want. Number one, joining websites. I think Google is an amazing tool for sure. So there's so much information about what sexual activities are available in all shapes and sizes and intensity levels. You know, so there are websites like FetLife. Highly recommend FetLife. They have a lot of amazing forums of just full of freaky people having conversations about the shit that they're into. I learned a lot from there for sure. And that's an amazing resource for people to be able to talk to real people and communicate, ask questions. There's just so much information on there. Attending workshops, you know, find workshops in your area, whether that's on Craigslist or some other source. There's a bunch of different places that you can go to and be live with an instructor who can guide you through all the different things that you have access to. What else do we have?
Talk to people with more experiences. You probably know someone who's fucking a lot, whether they're fucking with a partner that they've had consistently, or they're fucking everybody different, or somebody different every other night. Talk to somebody with more experience. Another thing that you can do is watch porn. I think porn gets a lot of bad rep, but watch that shit. Like, figure out and explore different categories. They have a whole section that says categories, and you can see all the different ones and try them out. Try something that you never thought to try. Try something that you think you may not like, because it may turn you on.
Yeah, and just with porn, I think just making sure that you remember that it is a fantasy world. They're creating a complete fantasy here.
A performance.
And so don't take it as law and how you should operate in your actual bedroom situation yourself, but use it as a tool to get ideas from.
Use it as inspiration.
Yeah, that's really, it's kind of like Pinterest, but Pornterest.
I'm crazy.
You know, I'm just saying, Pornterest. So go on there, get your categories, check out what's available to you, get some ideas, get turned on, get the juices flowing, and then from there, transition to other areas with more in-depth research, and then you can really get into it from there.
Awesome.
And I would also say, go to play parties. Play parties have been an amazing resource. Number one, just for the fun of being in an environment where sex is on the table, and it's just a sexually charged space, a little different than the average party that you may go to, where you can have conversations with people. A lot of times they're doing different demos. You can pick people's brains who are more experienced than you, and then just being in a sexual environment with your partner can kind of help loosen y'all up and just open y'all up to what other options are available. So definitely check out your local events. Again, FetLife is an amazing resource to find events as well. And so those are definitely ways that you can get clear on what it is that you want when you're getting ready to broach that conversation with your partner.
Awesome. The next thing that you can do is you can start just identifying what your desires are for yourself. Figure out what your kinks are. Your kinks, fetishes, fantasies, your limits are. It really does change and amplify what type of sex you're seeking. So let's get into defining, like, what are kinks?
Right. And so kinks, if you haven't checked out our, what is it, Vanilla Freaky or Kinky episode, we kind of break it down in there, but just for those who aren't familiar with it now, kinks are really anything that can be deemed socially unacceptable sexually, things that go beyond, what's deemed normal for us, things that we enjoy. It can be activities, it can be outfits, it can be environments, it can be different scenes. There's a lot of different things that fall under the kink scenario, but it's things generally that you're interested in that fall outside of what's deemed normal and acceptable by society. So really being clear, what kind of freaky shit do you like? Like, really, and you're gonna be by yourself when you're doing this. Pull out that pen and paper, be 100% real with yourself. What the fuck do I like? Write that shit down. So that goes for kinks, that goes for any fetishes that you might have. When it comes to fetishes, so fetishes, we were looking it up to get a really clear definition.
Yeah, I have a definition here, yeah.
All right, pull up the fetishes, because fetishes gets a little more foggy, I think.
I think so too. A fetish refers to an intense sexual fixation on a general non-sensual object, body part, practice, or situation. Some individuals with strong fetishes may not feel aroused or climax without their chosen fetish. According to the American Psychiatry Association, most fetishists are men. However, any person or gender or sexual orientation or age can have a fetish.
Okay. So what I'm gathering from that, it's more along things that you need sexually to really get off on.
Yeah.
Things that you prioritize, that are very important, that you consistently have on a regular basis. So kinks, and we'll go through our specific kinks in a little bit, but kinks are things that can come here in and out. You might want to try some bondage tonight, but you may not want to revisit bondage again for another 2-3 months. But your fetishes are those things you need regularly. So if you need your hair pulled on a regular basis, you need your ass smacked, you need to be choked, those kind of things, then those are more fetishes.
Yeah, I think people always like, when they think of a fetish, they think of like a foot fetish or something like that, where it's or something to the larger extreme. But it can be something as simple as, like you said, wanting your hair pulled.
Right.
It just, if that turns you on, it takes sex to a different level for you, that's probably your fetish.
Right. And it's important to know what these things are, because once you identify those high priority things for you, you can look at your current relationships and say, hey, am I having this right now?
Yeah.
And if you're not having that, obviously that could be an issue. So
you can also, when you're seeking if you're seeking a new relationship, you can broach the question, is this something that you can fulfill for me? Instead of trying to go through the whole thing and then bringing this up so much later in the relationship and realizing I can't be fulfilled in this way here, you can just kind of skip that whole process.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also fantasies. So fantasies are a little bit different, because fantasies are the scene.
Yeah.
It's the whole layout of the scene.
Playing it out from your mind to reality.
Yeah, from start to finish. So what kind of sexual scenes would you love to see unfold? Get detailed, write a description from start to finish what that looks like for you. And, these are things that you can actually have happen. So write those down. So when you go to your partner, you can say, hey, I would like this whole scene to happen. Let's facilitate that. Or can you facilitate that with me? Let's figure out how to do that. But those are fun though. Those are fun.
I think even if you don't play it out with your partner, just the simple task of talking about it goes a long way. Sometimes the fantasizing about your fantasy is the fantasy. And I don't know, I think that's not talked about enough, or just like thought about enough. Just talk about the kinky shit you're into to your partner, and maybe that's the kink in itself.
Yeah, because we bond over just talking about our fantasies and just enjoying them within themselves. Yeah, so it's just a fun thing that you can do, with your partner. That could be kind of a way to incorporate foreplay.
Yeah, and it also is like kind of like your deep, dirty secrets that only your partner knows, and now you have that connection with them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I like that too. And so once you've identified those core things, now you want to move into the things that you don't really fuck with too much. So that goes to the hard nose and your soft nose. So a hard no is something you absolutely have no interest in.
Strong hell no.
It's just no, it's not going to change. I am not fucking with that. Please don't ask me again. Those are your hard nose. Soft nose are things that you know for sure right now, I'm good right now. I have no interest in that, but maybe I can come around to that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you keep that on the soft nose list as something that you might change your mind on later. And I think those are important because you don't want anybody popping up anything on you, out of the blue, and makes for a more uncomfortable conversation. If you can sit down and go through, hey, I'm definitely not interested in this. Let's just keep this off the table. Don't ask me about that. It can just help things move a lot more smoothly. And the fact that your partner knows where your limits are, it makes you more comfortable.
Makes you feel more safe.
Yeah, you can trust them. It creates that level of safety, which is important when delving into anything really sexual with anybody.
You know what I just thought about?
What's that? I see you smiling over there.
I think one of your kinks are crossing off or transitioning someone's soft nose to a yes.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I need to write that down. Let me add that to my kinks list. Absolutely. I love that shit. Yeah, you do know me pretty well.
I know you pretty well. But a soft
that.
no it's a movable no. It's a no, a flexible no, I should say.
Yeah.
A no that could be like a okay.
Yeah.
Or from an okay to a hell yeah.
Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with me being the person who respects that soft no, but knows that, hey, I'd like to switch that to a hard no. And and kind of challenge myself to get you comfortable enough to where you may be open to it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You said switching it from a soft no to a hard no?
I'm sorry, it's not from switching it from a soft no to an yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that as long as your intentions are pure and you are patient and allow that person to let you know when everything is okay and not coerce them.
Exactly. It's not about coercion. It's really what it's about is trust.
Yeah.
Like, do you trust me enough to experiment with the soft no in a safe way because I think knowing you and knowing what you're into and knowing the sex that you like to have, I think I can really make this enjoyable for you.
Yeah.
So do you trust me enough to do that for you, to facilitate that for you?
Yeah.
And I think only in those spaces is a soft no turnable.
Yeah. And it takes time. It takes you continually respecting someone's boundaries, continuing to show up as someone who they know they can rely on to respect them and to be safe with. It takes doing that over a period of time for someone to be open enough to change a soft no, or just to do other shit that is even on your list.
Yeah.
So it definitely involves a lot of patience.
It does.
For sure. But yeah, I do enjoy that. I do enjoy that a lot.
I know you do.
Yeah.
You turned a lot of my soft nose, but that's a different discussion.
That is a different discussion. And so, yeah, we just touched a lot just now. So we have a whole list now. So you know exactly what your kinks are, what your fetishes are, what your fantasies are, what your hard nose and soft nose are. So now you should be clear as hell about what it is that you want. Now I would feel confident. I know what I like now. Let me go talk to my partner about this. So in getting ready to have that conversation with them,
you're equipped. You know what the hell you're going in with.
So now it's time to go to them and say it with your chest. Say it confidently. Say it being proud of the things that you're interested in and not fearing judgment that they may have for you or anything else that may come with that. You would just be a full open book and just share with love. And even preface it, hey, I'm about to tell you some shit that I like.
Yeah.
I would love if you keep an open mind. This is what I'm interested in exploring with you. Just keep an open mind. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but this is what I like. And then just say it.
Yeah, and also just as you say it, go in being courageous enough to be vulnerable. What you're about to say, like you just said, you're about to say some shit. You're about to lay out all your fantasies, all your desires, all your fetishes, kinks, whatever you have. And you have to be vulnerable enough to just accept. And also detach from what that person's response may be. Because I may come up to you like, hey, I love a good foot in my ass. And you may judge me for that. And I don't like a good foot in my ass, just disclaimer. But you may judge me for that. And even though you may judge me, that doesn't change how I feel about a foot in my ass. So just detaching from that person's response and being okay with this person doesn't fuck with it, or that person is so ready to shove that foot up my ass.
Right. And I think there's a certain power that comes with being vulnerable enough to just say it.
Yeah.
Really, and wholeheartedly just put yourself out there in that way. I think there's a certain level of freedom and joy and pleasure that just comes from that. Like, you know what? I did that shit. I told you what the fuck I want.
And I think for the person receiving that conversation, it's sexy. Like, wow, they're so grounded in who they are and what they desire that they're willing to just say it to me, no matter how crazy that shit just was, or even how common that shit just was. They know themselves. Just having that knowledge and self-awareness is sexy, and it's underrated. Know yourself, know what the fuck you want, and just know and be comfortable in what you're asking for. It makes a difference. It changes everything.
But I know we can say that because we're two very sexually free beings, but there are a lot of people that do judge. And I know before we started recording, we were sitting there having a conversation about the just say it part. And I just couldn't really wrap my mind around, well, why would it be so hard? You could just say it. Just say the words, hey, I'm interested in doing these things sexually. What do you think about it? But then we realized it isn't that easy. So I would love for you to speak on why it's so challenging for women to be able to say it to their male partners specifically about what they're interested in.
I think it's difficult because there's so much slut shaming that happens to women. And like, even if, especially when you're younger, but I don't think it ever really goes away. I think it just kind of changes the way that it happens. I think especially at a younger age, I experienced a lot of slut shaming. Just like in knowing what I wanted and what I desired, I was slut shamed. Like, well, how do you know that? And I think it goes to, like we were talking about it earlier with the other Ahmir, that just, I guess, guys wanting to be the first and then realizing you're not the first in this experience because I already know that I like this. So we're just kind of shamed.
But those are two different things that you mentioned.
Okay.
Because I can understand, not that it's right, but I at least conceptually understand why a man would say, oh, you're a slut because you like this. If you want a fucking 10-guy orgy, or gangbang, I should say, if you want, that's a very different situation than saying, hey, I want to try some anal toys, or I want you to choke me. Like, I wouldn't associate slut with that. But I do understand on the flip side that feeling of, well, damn, I wanted to be the first. Like, you already did that. All right. Like, I get both sides of the coin with that one. But just the first one, like, why are you a slut? Because
I don't know. I think that just in my experience, in knowing the things that I desired and learning those desires, I learned from just masturbating and really just studying myself. But they don't know that. But for whatever reason, knowing my desires and knowing exactly what I wanted, how I want you to fuck me, it was just like there was a level of shame that I received. And in receiving that shame, and I think that a lot of my friends and just a lot of people, a lot of women, a lot of femmes that I've spoken to about this topic, in knowing what we want and what we desire and in asking for it, we're treated like, well, why do you know so much about sex? Like, you must be a whore, you must be a slut because you know that.
Got it.
So what that does psychologically, because a lot of the time it happens when you're young. I'm talking like early 20s, you're just figuring your sexual self out. So what that does to us psychologically is, I'm not gonna ask for what I want because I'm gonna be shamed, because I'm gonna be less desirable. So instead of asking, I'm just gonna receive whatever mediocre type of sex I'm receiving and just not ask any questions about it. So it just dampers our experience. It dampers the sex that we have. And 9 times out of 10, I think that's why you end up having so many women faking their orgasms, because there's this disconnect between wanting something sexually and knowing that if I ask, it will actually be received.
Okay. So we're going to just address this right now, because that sounds very sad that you can't communicate your desires, whether you've had these experiences in the past or you haven't, but you just can't communicate your desires. And we're specifically talking about to your male partners out of fear of slut shame judgment.
Yeah.
Fellas, this is a PSA for y'all. I don't know about you, but for me, one of the sexiest things ever is a woman who can communicate to me what she wants. Now I got the roadmap. I got the cheat sheet. I don't have to just be in my head trying some shit. I know what she wants. So now I can just give it to her. Just fucking use your ears, listen, be present with your partner, and facilitate those things for her. Like, that's it. Like, that whole slut, again, if it's hey, I would like a 15-man gangbang in the back of the church around the corner, you might have to work through some feelings. I get it. Maybe you have to work through, yes, extra kiki behind the church. Yes. You might have to work through some feelings for that. But for the vast majority of things, I don't understand how you can associate, oh, you're a slut or you're a whore. I just would love to remove those words. I know we use those words as like empowering, but I just would love if we can just like surpass those words at this point. Like, there's nothing bad about any of that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So fellas, get it together, yo. If your woman is communicating to you the things she wants to do, celebrate her. Tell her she did a great job for telling you, and you know how vulnerable and how uncomfortable that could be to go there. But that slut shaming shit, that shit is whack as hell.
Yeah,
like, we too grown for that.
I remember I think I mentioned this moment in a previous episode, but I was talking about how like I wanted to be slapped and just degraded, and this person was just like, no, like, you're too pretty to be degraded. No, I don't want to do that to you. And then they said like I was too pretty to be degraded like that. But I wanted to be degraded. Like, that's what I knew would get me off. That's what would take this experience to the next level for me. And they just very much was trying to convince me that shouldn't happen. But standing in my truth and knowing this is what I like and this is what I fuck with. And if you don't fuck with that, that's completely fine. But leave. And I just kindly said to him, like, I can walk you out. And I did. And he was shocked by that. But I think that a person, especially a woman or femme, knowing exactly what they want and accepting nothing less, it's important.
Yeah. And
it changes the game for us.
Yeah, and that's how we can start changing the narrative, I guess, you know, as they say, in terms of, no, actually, this is just what I want. Oh, you're gonna judge? All right, you can kick rocks. fuck out of here then.
Yeah.
And not feeling bad, like, nah, this is what I want. Oh, you a bitch. You can't handle it. You can't choke me? All right, get the fuck out. So, ladies, don't tolerate that shit. You hearing this from a cis, straight, heterosexual man. Don't tolerate that shit. And fellas, get the shit together. But on the flip side, I was sitting here thinking about what could we possibly have reservations about with talking to our partner. Like, we men, you know, it's different. We don't have that level of judgment that y'all have a lot of times. And I think number one, like for me, if I talked about some of the shit that I'm into, if I had a fear, it would be that I would scare you away by how intense I can get. So if you are into some more intense shit, then you gotta know how to navigate that. Kind of test the waters. Start out with the lightest of light things and progress. Get a feel. All right, hey, I like to choke a little bit. What do you think about that? Get a reaction.
You didn't start with that with me.
What did I start with?
A DS relationship.
We had conversations about sex first. No, you set the tone because you just came out of nowhere with fucking phone sex.
This is arguable. Wow, I can't believe you put that out there. I feel exposed.
Phone sex?
I'm just saying, I feel exposed.
I mean, if we're going to talk about it, we're going to talk about it.
Next subject, please.
All right. You did some things to let me know it was okay for me to bring up a whole dom sub dynamic with you when the time came.
Right. Days after our first date.
But this is to the point of reading your person, understanding your person. I knew even in that short time, like, okay, she bought it. Like, she's with it. I could talk about all things under the sun, you know, but if you know that your partner might have more reservations, but you are into more intense shit, fellas, just take your time. Start out with the lighter stuff. Try those things first. Hey, I also like this, or I'm interested in this, and progress from there. But don't just pour on, hey, I want to beat your ass in the back of the fucking
church, apparently.
Church. Or Home Depot, whatever.
Home Depot. What are you into? I don't think I know.
Pace yourself is the point. Pace yourself. But also on the flip side, other things that I could absolutely see being issues is men interested in more things that would be deemed gay. And we've had those conversations because it's so stupid. It's so stupid to, if you're in a relationship with a woman, if you're a man and you're in a relationship with a woman and you want your woman to do certain things to you, there's nothing gay about that. You love your woman. You're into your woman. There's no other penis involved. That doesn't make sense. You know, so being comfortable enough in your sexuality to say to your female partner, if that's who you have, hey, I would like to try some butt stuff. Ahmir on both sides of the bed told me about prostate stimulation is the gate to new levels of pleasure, and I want to receive the pleasure too. So I want to try some anal play with you, you know, and y'all be able to explore that. You should be able to say that to your partner. So ladies, if your man has the courage enough to say, I want to try some butt stuff with you today, welcome him in and have the conversation. The
level of vulnerability that takes for a man, it's high, and we should honor that and just be honored that they even brought that to us. Because again, that's a really vulnerable state. Especially for black men.
Especially, and I just feel really strongly about that. But that was like the only other thing I can see that would make us hesitant about talking about our sexual desires, especially that one for sure. You know, so now that we've talked about non-judgment, I think
before we get into that, also something that people need to do is identify the issues that they have.
What issues specifically are you talking about?
Identify issues something that could be hindering them from just like pure sexual ecstasy with their partner. It could be insecurities, it could be trust, it could just be a lack of knowledge of what you want to get into. Like, say somebody is really into restraints, like they watched that porn, they heard about it, they seen it, but they have no idea how to restrain somebody. So that education is lacking. So I think just identifying any issues, whether it's just I'm uncomfortable talking about it, or I know what I want, I know my partner's into it, but I don't know how to do it. Just identifying whatever it is, or I know that my partner is into it, I know that I am into it, but maybe I cheated on my partner, we're still healing from that. Figuring those things out and identifying what those issues are so that you can navigate those issues, I think is really important.
Okay, so identifying problem points prior to that conversation.
Exactly, yeah.
So when it happens and when it comes up, you're ready for it.
Exactly.
Okay,
and
yeah,
you're
I feel
prepared
that.
to have that discussion to move forward and not move past, but to move through it.
I feel that.
Yeah, and that's really more so for people in long-term relationships or who have a past with somebody.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So that's good. I feel like that will have everyone well equipped to now pursue this conversation.
Yeah.
So now that you've built up your courage, you know there's nothing wrong with what you want to do, and you're ready to go and just say it. When you see your person sitting there on the couch with you, just talk. Like, it don't have to be crazy complicated after that.
It doesn't.
Hey, I was thinking, or, I watched this, or I listened to this, and, I've been thinking about, some sexual interests of mine, some things, I've been really fantasizing about, I want to talk to you about. I've been interested in so-and-so and so-and-so. Just lay it out, or have your sheet. I've been interested in these things. What do you think about it? Get feedback from them.
What are your desires?
Yeah,
what are you interested?
desires?
What can we add to this list?
Yeah. Like, it don't have to be.
Save room for the sexy.
No more than that.
It doesn't.
And then just from there, have a natural, organic conversation with them. And those conversations are fun just within themselves.
Yeah.
I find those are so exciting to learn more about your partner and what their interests are, especially when it is newer. No, I would say I've never been in a situation where, we've been in it for 2-3 years and now you hit me with all this freak shit that you're into. I don't know what that feels like, but I imagine that could be pretty exciting.
It could be.
Yeah.
It could also be very jarring because you think you know someone and then they just hit you with this left field shit.
Yeah.
And I think just after you work through that part of it, it can be really exciting.
Yeah.
Because it's like, this is someone you've been with for 2-3 years and there's a whole other level you get to explore with somebody.
Right.
That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. So just say it with your chest. Say it confidently. Say it proud. Wear it on your sleeves. And know that there's absolutely nothing wrong with anything you possibly want to do. And also bring that same energy for them. If they come and hit you with some shit you wasn't expecting after you told them what you want, don't be judging them either.
Or if they're the first one to say it, you didn't say anything of what you want and they just come to you.
Yeah.
Be ready. Just be like, all right, shit. Instead of judging, just like, we're about to get into some shit and I'm just ready and excited. And if we tried and it's not my thing, at least we can say we tried.
Yeah. But in this phase of things, it's still only a conversation.
Yeah.
So nothing's set in stone that, because they say they want to do it means it has to happen. That's for y'all to decide on what y'all comfortable with and what makes sense for your relationship. Mm-hmm. So don't feel the pressure to now have to do everything because y'all are having a conversation about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you've talked about it, you've identified your desires, your kinks, your fetishes, fantasies, soft nose, and you've had that back and forth dialogue. Now y'all both have lists now. Now you have a whole array of things to add to the buffet of pleasurable experiences. Now it's time to get into where you currently are with it. And now y'all can really see, pull the hood up and really see where you currently are.
Yeah.
In your relationship. So what questions do we got surrounding that?
The next question you would ask is, how would you rate your sex life from 1 to 10? Mm-hmm. 1 being not that great and 10 being, this is fucking amazing. I'm coming just thinking about it.
So what's the importance with that?
I think the importance is just really gauging like the satisfaction in your relationship. Because if somebody is like, this is amazing, this is a top tier 10, and somebody's like, this is a strong 4 for me, there's work to be done. If y'all are both on the same just range between 8 to 10, that's amazing. If you're in the same range from 1 to 4, y'all both know that you have some work to do.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the number one thing, getting on the same page on where you're at. And
a strong understanding of where your sex life really is, honestly is.
Yeah. And then you have a starting place to where you want to go. And I don't think there's any end number. Like there's no, we at a 10, so we have no more to do.
If we're at a 10, I'm looking for 11 out of 10.
I like 12.
You like 12?
I like 12.
I like 12 then too.
But then you can just, over time, just turn it to 100.
Ooh, 100 out of 10?
100 out of 10.
Oh, that sounds hot.
Yeah.
That sounds a little scary. It sounds like some kinky sex behind a church, apparently.
Yeah, I like that.
A Home Depot.
I see we're creating something right now. We might have some scenarios we got to play out after this. But I think that's an excellent question. I think it can be a nervous question too.
Yeah.
Because
I'm scared as shit to hear yours. I think I know, but I'm still scared.
Yeah, it can be nerve-wracking because you don't want to think your partner might be at a 8, 9, 10 and they're actually at a 3.
Yeah.
But also it forces you to now have this conversation. It forces you to sit there if y'all are out of line and figure out how to get aligned and address the issues that may be plaguing your relationships.
And in the future, it's just great sex that's about to be had because you're addressing it.
Yeah.
And it takes, again, that courage of having that vulnerability to just be in that space.
Right.
But there's only great things to come from there.
Right. And then after you ask what that number is, follow-up question would be, well, what experiences would you like to have to increase that number?
Yeah.
Now we's cooking now. Now we're starting to put it together. All right, cool. We at a 6. What can we do to bring that to an 8?
Yeah.
You know, and then start putting some of those things on your list into practice. You don't have to tackle your whole list overnight. You don't got to fucking conquer sex, you know, in a year. You know, this is take your time, you know, slow and
steady. It's your
steady.
life partner. Figure it out over time.
Or even if it's not, even if it's just somebody you plan on rocking with for the next however long, but there's
it's
no
your
rush.
partner for the night. Just figure it out for today.
Yeah. So I just think that's an excellent question to now start putting it together on what you can do to improve things and bring more pleasure to your relationship with this person. Now, you started bringing up other questions that I think are really good to really get into things, and I would love for you to go through them. You spoke about keep, stop, start.
Yeah, this actually I learned working with a leadership workshop. And it's a part of the feedback form of like, we're going to keep this, we're going to start this, we're going to stop this. So keep, stop, start is, I want to keep doing this because it's so fucking good. Mm-hmm. Start is, this is so fucking good. I just know that if we try this, it's going to be even better. Mm-hmm. And stop is like, this has been happening and it's not really working for me. Mm-hmm. So I think I did that a little out of order. Forgive me, but it's fine. Keep, stop, start. What do you want to keep going in our relationship? Yeah. What do you want to stop so that we can be a little closer in our relationship or sexual relationship? What do you want to start to just get it revving, just accelerating forward?
Yeah, I love that. It's simple, straight to the point.
Yeah.
Get right to it.
Keep, stop, start.
Boom.
And I think that's better also for long-term partnerships because there you have that history of, we have been doing this for so long, I want to keep doing this. We have been doing this for so long, I want to stop doing this. We have been doing so many things so long, but I want to start something new. Right. I think for newer relationships, and even just when I say relationships, I even mean sexual relationships where there's no like partnership involved or romantic partnership involved. But I think for those, it's, let me educate you on what the fuck turns me on. Yeah. And what turns me off. Like if you do this shit, I guarantee this is just gonna sail downwards. So identifying what your turn-ons are and what your turn-offs are.
You jumped the gun though, because that's the next part. Turn on and turn off triggers.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so yeah, those are more in line with newer partners. So you can let them know from the jump what you are turned on by and what you are turned off by. So you know what you're getting yourself into and how to navigate that properly. Yeah. So how does that work?
What?
How does it work? Is it just how do you pose those questions? How do you communicate turn on, turn offs in a way that, you know, is simple and easy?
Well, I think identifying your turn-ons, I think that's a self thing. Like you need to sit with yourself and figure out like, this is what turns me on. I like it when you touch me here. I like it when you kiss me there. This isn't bad, but like it doesn't really do anything for me. Figuring out what your turn-ons are and defining them for yourself first, and then telling your partner.
But you said it to me though. It sounded like you were talking to me.
What do you mean?
You were just talking to me. You like this, or you don't like that. I get that. So
yeah.
It seemed like it was a conversation for the person, the partner.
I think that first it's a self-conversation to really have that full understanding of what really turns you, what really turns me on. Mm-hmm. And in having that understanding, you're able to articulate that to your partner. Right. So that there's no miscommunication. There's no like, I think I like that, but it's like, no, I fucking love this. And if you did this to me, I just know that we would fucking love this. And we just like amplify our sex together. And also knowing your turn-offs. Like, you kind of do this thing where it just doesn't really do it for me. And instead, if you did this, it would really do it for me. And I think turn-offs is a trickier subject because you don't want to make your partner feel like they fucked up or like make them feel insecure about the things they're doing. You really want to articulate that with an art. Really saying like, hey, and I think also the way that you give feedback, also something I learned from my leadership program, the way you give feedback is so necessary. Saying like, hey, I love when you do this, introducing your turn on trigger.
Right.
I don't really care for this, introducing your turn off trigger, and then closing out with, again, your turn on. Again, when you do this, it really just drives me crazy.
Right.
I think it really just changes the game.
Yeah, it's all about how you deliver the message.
Yeah,
for sure. I think people will be much more receptive. They know what is going well for them first. You know, what they're doing well for you.
Yeah.
But I like that because it doesn't necessarily just focus on sexual acts.
Yeah.
It may be things surrounding sex, but it might not be the actual sexual act. So, hey, I hate when you try to have sex with me before we eat dinner. I like to eat first, you know, and be settled. I don't like having sex as soon as I come in the door, for example, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't like having sex when the bed isn't made. I like it to be made first before we get into things. Or I'd rather shower before, like whatever. I'm just giving, you know, examples, but those aren't directly the sexual acts within themselves, but it's the things surrounding that that also play a big part in your arousal and pleasure in your experiences.
Yeah. It's funny you say those two, because I like to have sex before I eat, because I don't want to think about like how bloated I am, and I like having sex on a made bed. So it's just funny you say those two things.
I like sex on the made bed, but it could go down anytime.
Yeah, if the covers get like destroyed, the pillows are just thrown in the midst of it, cool. But if it starts out clean, it just amplifies it for me.
I need to eat. I need that. I need energy. I don't eat too crazy, but I need to eat.
Yeah, this is how we differ. I don't want to eat first.
It's all right.
Because then I eat and I get tired. But that's a different discussion.
Yeah. The turn on and turn off triggers.
Yeah.
I like that one.
I do too.
Definitely. And you spoke about identifying issues. I think after you've gone through these other things with your partner, now y'all can have those conversations, because you want to start with fun shit. You don't want to go right into issues. So talk about all the fun, exciting things first, and then you can ease into, hey, you know, these are some issues that I can see being a problem for us. I just want to address these things before we venture into these new sexual experiences together. So I love that you brought that up. You know, things like insecurities. You know, if you have any body insecurities, for instance, hey, I would love to bring a third person into the bedroom with us, you know, but I am dealing with some body issues right now. I'd like to start working out and feel better about myself before we bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
I, you know, maybe have a concern that maybe you might want to leave me for this new person.
And I want to get that out of my head before we start bringing this other person in, so it doesn't destroy us.
Yeah, that's legit. Or, hey, you know, lately we've been struggling with trust issues surrounding whatever it might be. You know, before inviting other people into the bedroom with us, you know, I would just like our trust to be rock solid before we do that, so things don't pop up in the midst of things. Or, hey, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. Let's open a book first or watch a video before we try to do this shit. I don't want to hurt you. So just being real about things that are currently issues that you want to address before you get down with the get down.
Before you get down with the get down.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you get through all of those, and you have an understanding of what your desires are, you have an understanding of even what your hindrances are, now it's like, okay, we're doing the thing. Let's establish some ground rules. Mm-hmm. So how does that go for you?
We're going to get into ours in a minute as we go through all the questions. But I just think, ground rules. So you know what your boundaries are, so you can trust in your person, so you can feel comfortable in that whatever y'all are about to venture in, the boundaries are never going to be crossed.
Yeah.
So let them know, hey, I'm good with X, Y, and Z, but I am not interested in this right now, or I need you to respect these things right now, and lay your boundaries out. So y'all are, again, clear. It's all about clarity. It's all about communication on what's acceptable and what's not acceptable as you go through your list of freaky shit y'all want to get into.
And also just like in seeing your person like apply these boundaries and just seeing like, they know I don't like this, and in this moment it could have been okay, but they did it anyway, where they did the thing where they knew what not to do. And it just makes me trust you more. It makes me just know that I'm safe with you.
Right.
And once that, I don't know, for me, once it clicks for me that I'm just completely safe with you, or once it clicked for me that I was completely safe with you, it was just like my boundaries kind of became limitless, or my lack of boundaries.
Right.
It was just like, whatever happens, happens. Like, this is just, it's great because even if I become uncomfortable, I know in the moment I can say it and you'll respect it.
Yeah.
And we can just move on instead of getting locked into like, oh, that wasn't good.
Right. I feel that. That's a great point that you made. Because I know for me personally, I prioritize safety and comfort for my partners above anything else. And so number one, I just want you to feel safe and comfortable because you deserve that as a human being to feel safe and comfortable in anything we're going to explore. So I just want that for you, period. But also I know that it will benefit me by making sure that you're comfortable. I'll be able to have the sexual experiences that I want with you because I've made sure that I've broken down any discomfort. We've made it clear I am a person that you can release all of your stuff with me and I will protect you. Yeah. So yeah, just make sure they're safe. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
It changes the game.
Yeah.
And it changes how I think for us in our relationship, like we were kind of skipping forward, but we were kind of going over just these questions for ourselves and just answering these. And I was telling you, I have a really hard time figuring out what my personal hard and soft no's are with you because I trust you so much. I had to like really sit there. Everything else was just like this and this. But my hard and soft no's, it was just like, like I literally asked you, what are my hard no's? Because I feel so secure and so safe with you. I feel like even my hard no's, I'm willing to try. Because if it gets to a point where it's like, this is not, I knew this was a hard no, we tried it, it's still a hard no. I know in the moment you would respect that.
Yeah.
And that type of trust, that type of love doesn't come easily. Yeah. And doesn't come often.
Yeah. And I love that. And that within itself brings me pleasure. That something about me and how I'm going about things with you makes you trust me enough to give of yourself in this vulnerable way that we can have these experiences together. I just love that shit within itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trust. That's it. Make a person feel comfortable. And next we have a few bonus tips. Matter of fact, let's save the bonus tips until after we answer the questions because I know that people want to hear our answers to all of this. So we haven't done this in a little while now, so I'm curious to hear your answers too. But I think this would be good for us for this evening. We'll probably have some really amazing sex after we talked about all these things.
That's the hope.
Yeah. So now y'all can have the opportunity to just hear us in having our actual conversation. So we'll go from start to finish in how we would do it, and hopefully y'all get some benefit from it. All right. So let's get into it. And remember, no kink shaming. That's rule number 1. No kink shaming.
Please don't judge us.
Yes. So let's get into it. So define your kinks. Define your kink.
Oh, I go first.
Ladies first.
My kinks are, I love a good choking. It just amplifies my whole experience. It doesn't matter what type. We could be making love nice and slow. We can be having some hard primal sex. Whatever it is, a choking takes it to the next level. And you always like comment that you feel a difference.
With what?
After you choke me. It's
my
my vagina.
Oh yeah.
It gets wetter. Yeah. Because it's great. Yeah. Another one of my kinks, I love impact play. So impact play is just like flogging, hitting, slapping of the ass, face, what have you. Another one is breath play. So that kind of goes back into choking. Degradation.
Real quick, I just want to know, are you open to other forms of breath play?
Give me examples.
Like choking you with the leash?
Yes.
Yeah, so like choking you with the leash, maybe putting something over your head, not a bag, because that's pretty dangerous, but like a pillowcase, where it's like light choking, you can't see, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay. I know you're not fucking with the waterboarding.
Hell no. Hell no. He told me about that. He did that real quick. With another one of his subs.
I did some waterboarding. It was supposed to be a punishment. So we in the shower and I was upset about something that happened. So they were giving me head in the shower, and then the shower head is just sitting there. We got the detachable hook on it, and it was just looking so inviting, and it's just light bulb.
Not so inviting.
So I was getting head. I'm like, nah, fuck this. So I took the shower head off, and I just put it in her face. So she's like struggling with the water, trying to breathe because the water is hitting her face all crazy. I'm like in her face
While
too.
she's giving you
While
head.
she's giving me head, like deep throat. I'm face fucking her basically. It was some intense shit. Definitely not for the faint of heart.
Yeah,
But-
I am the faint of heart. I do not want that.
Nah, you're not the faint of heart. You're a little further than that. You're a
Well,
little
thank
further
you.
than that. Yeah, but that's another option of breath play.
Yeah, I'm not into that type of breath play.
I will say she enjoyed it thoroughly. So it was a pleasurable
It was very
experience.
consensual. I do
Yes.
get reports, and
Absolutely.
she loved it.
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Please continue.
Another one of my kinks, I like degradation. And I think a lot of, I don't know, I meet a lot of women who are into it, but are like, keep it on the hush hush.
I get why.
Yeah, but I fucking love it.
But let's break that down a little bit of what that looks like or what that can look like. Because that word degradation, it seems so bad and just wrong and
To be degraded
Yeah.
so harshly, yeah.
it just seems bad.
I like to be called names.
So what feeling does it give you?
I don't know, it just like kind of like amplifies the experience, and it just makes me just get hornier and just like want to go harder.
So is it because it's more taboo?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would encourage people to explore that. It's actually on my list too, and I'll add that too. But
To be degraded or to degrade?
to degrade, and I think for me, it's an experience of a new feeling. It's a feeling I'm not able to experience in my normal everyday life. Degrading someone, because I'm a nice person, you know. I treat people with respect. So if this is the one place where I can throw that shit out the window and make you feel like shit in a loving, consensual, hot, sexy way,
Yeah.
I love that shit.
And I also love it. This is why we make good couples.
That's why we make a good couple. So explore degradation if you're looking for some new experiences.
Yeah, but like it goes like far, like being called names, being spat on, being slapped, like all of it. Just it's amazing.
Yeah. And I think for me, being the degrader, I love the mind fuck of it.
Yeah.
I love learning real shit about you that I can use during sex, where you in the midst of it, while I'm balls deep inside of you saying some wild shit to you, in the moment where it blurs reality from the fantasy.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, is he really for real right now? And you feel that intensity from me. Like, oh my God, I can't believe he's saying these things, because it feels so real, because I'm using real life examples.
But it gets you off.
Yeah, and it gets us both off, and it gets me off knowing it gets you off, because I've done it in a strategic way where it makes sense for you.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just think that's a very different, special level of pleasure and just bliss that you can achieve with your partner, making it real and authentic. If you're gonna do it, fucking do it. You know what I'm saying?
Don't pussyfoot around
Yeah,
it.
do it. So yeah, degradation. Please continue.
Another one is CNC. So
CNC.
consensual, non-consensual, which is very very taboo, and I think a lot of people don't like to admit it. But I love it, and I think it goes kind of back into that degradation of just
Right.
like kind of feeling like my respect and my rights are not like it's out of my control.
Right.
And just kind of being someone who has been in that situation in a non-consensual way, it's not fun in that way, but it's kind of like taking back control and allowing yourself to explore that mental space in a way that where you have all the control actually.
Right.
It's like a really cool pretend.
Right. Yeah. And just for those who don't know, CNC, consensual non-consent, is basically you're consenting, because consent is king. Nothing is more important than consenting to any individual act. Must get that okay.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. So you're consenting to give that consent away to someone else where they don't need your consent in the moment. You're saying, hey, I trust you enough to say you can have whatever you want within our guidelines, whenever you want, without my consent. You know, so examples of that, you might start fucking your partner while they're sleeping, or randomly kidnap them if they're like, walking home or something. Maybe hop out a bush on them and fucking kidnap them or some shit and take them in the back of that house. Like, there's ways that you can get creative with it, but you were basically taking what you want without getting that consent in that moment that it's okay.
Because that consent overall is there.
Right. And I think that...
But in the moment, because you haven't spoken about it,
yeah.
so it just kind of feels like you're thrown off because you're not technically ready for it.
Yeah, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but whatever's going to happen in the grand scheme of things, you're safe.
Right.
But you just don't know what the fuck's about to go down.
Right.
And it's like, it's a cool surprise, and it's jarring, and it's amazing to kind of feel pleasure in that way, where it's like, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know what they're about to do to me. And I don't even in the moment, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Or I don't feel safe, but I know I am safe.
Yeah.
It's a weird mind fuck. It's an overall mind fuck that's very controversial.
We had a really good CNC scene. We were up in Niagara Falls. We had a hotel out there. Yeah, I remember that shit.
I remember that. I remember that shit.
We were sipping all night. I think we went out to the little casino or whatever across the street, and we came back. You passed out on me, of course, as usual. You passed out on me. I was up doing some work or whatever, and you were knocked the fuck out. And I remember I was done with my work, and I was just so horny, and you were in this bed. It's so clean, this fucking king-size bed with this amazing sheets, and I was like, nah, I want that right now. But I didn't want to wake you up and do the whole thing. And I know that you'd be interested in CNC. So I remember I just pulled the sheets back, got underneath there, started eating you out. You were reacting to me, but I could tell you were still completely unconscious in that moment. And that really started getting my dick hard. Like, I was like, okay, yes, she's not gonna wake up. Yes. So you like move me in your dreams. I don't know what you might have been dreaming about.
In my dreams.
Yeah, but I was eating you out real good, and I started feeling you getting wet, started fingering you, then hopped right on, started doing my thing, and you were half sleeping, like woke up with me inside you.
Yeah,
but
I have no recollection.
You were still delusional the whole time, and it was just kind of happening, and so it was like a little dark, and it was like it was hot.
It's very dark.
Yeah,
I have no
hot.
recollection of the eating out part, of the fingering part. If you didn't tell me that, I wouldn't have known that happened.
Yeah.
I do remember waking up with you inside me, and it was just really jarring because I was really drunk, and we weren't even drinking like crazy.
Nah.
I'm a lightweight. But I remember just like kind of waking up to it and being like, whoa, this is fucking crazy. Like, when did this start happening? And it was so hot. It was so hot seeing how turned on you are. It was so hot seeing how turned on you made my body. And it's like kind of like my mind had to catch up to my body. Whereas I think with just normal sex, with normal sex, it's your body catches up with your mind.
Right.
So it's like that reverse, and it's really intense and really exciting.
Yeah.
But it's also really cool to have that type of like mind fuck, knowing you're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a safe way to play out dark shit, so if you could find a person that you feel that comfortable with, that's a beautiful thing, to explore these feelings and emotions that we don't get to experience on a regular day basis. It's just the ability to feel something different as a human being is so amazing to me.
I think so too.
Yeah. You have any more?
Role playing.
Role playing. Yes. I do enjoy role playing.
I think it's so funny, just even talking about CNC, I was a little apprehensive about it because it gets such a bad rep, and just so much shame. But role playing is the one that I'm just like, I don't want to talk about my role playing fantasies to people. Because we role play some shit.
We do.
I'm taking drinks to that.
Yeah. Cheers to that. Hold on. Let's get that. You want to talk
about one, or you want to leave that to mystery?
We're gonna keep that one close to the hip. We're gonna keep that one close to the hip. We didn't talk about CNC.
Yeah,
I think we good. We're gonna leave it.
Mystery.
We're gonna leave it there. You have any others, or that's it?
That was all for me.
Okay, I have quite an extensive list, so I'll go through. Definitely just dominance and submission, the power dynamic, the power exchange, and everything that comes from that. There's just so many things that can happen within that. But just to give you a couple, having you on your knees, like having you bring a collar to me for me to put on you, like that is some sexy shit. I just enjoy the act of that. It's not a sexual act.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
a mental act.
Yeah, it's a power exchange. It's an example of the power that you've given me to have over you, exemplified. So I love that. Or even like the leash, like when we go to play parties, most of the time I'll have a leash on you as we walk around, and it's just like this union that we have, and we in a spot, like it's a presence, you know. It's like, oh, okay, they're on some other shit right there. Yeah. And I love that. I love what it communicates to other people. I love what it feels like. And when we don't have that shit, like we went to a party. One time we went to a party, you had your collar, but you did not have your leash on. I felt crazy as hell. Like, this shit is not okay. But then there was one time you didn't have even your collar on. I'm like, I almost lost my goddamn mind. Usually I got my whole bag with all my stuff in it.
We rushed out the house. We had other people with us. Yeah. There was a lot happening, but it was very jarring. Yeah. And I think from what it does for me, because again, you talked about that presence. It allows me to feel secure that I won't be bothered. Because we're in a space where it's like when you talk to somebody, the opportunity of sex is higher than not.
Very.
And I don't really, especially with men, I don't want to have sex with other men. So I get approached a lot when we go to those spaces, but in having that on, it kind of just like dismantles that. The whole thing. They know like not even to talk to me. And it makes a difference for me.
Yeah. I love that too. Because if I have the leash on, they're not fucking with it at all. They're like, okay, I'm not fucking with it. All right. Like they'll give a look like, all right, I see you, bro. That kind of thing. But with the leash off, there's a little wiggle room there. Yeah. For the ignorant who don't recognize what a collar means, you know, in those spaces. You know, so stuff like that. I love dominant and submissive things in the bedroom. Impact play. Love impact play. Love floggers. I love even just a good hand smack. I love the paddles that we have. I got all kinds of whips and stuff. I just enjoy that and the varying levels of intensity that you can bring to a scene depending on your partner. I love that impact can be more sensual and more sensory and just feels pleasurable. I love that you can do that. But I love that also you can turn up the intensity and make it a pleasurable pain experience for someone who's a masochist and enjoys pain. Me personally, I like the balance of both. So I love the pleasure and pain all within one scene and scenario. I enjoy that the most, and being able to mix both of those up minute by minute. It's really, you don't know where to go. You can't you can't anticipate it because you don't know what's coming. I love that. It brings me so much joy. So impact play, breath play. We spoke about that. As much as you love choking, I love to fucking choke. I love all the chokes. 1-hand choke, 2-hand choke. Got the forearm choke behind you with the leash. I love that choke. We got the whole waterboarding shit. Breath play. I love the power that I feel by literally having your life in my hands. Literally. Number one, just the power, but then also knowing that you have that much trust in me. It just feels amazing. Like, fuck, you trust me that much to choke the shit out of you to the point where you literally pass out, knowing in full confidence that I got this. That shit feels great. Yeah. That feels great. So I love everything breath play, restraints. I love having someone bound where I just have full control and they can't do shit about it. And I could just do what I want. I love that we have the bed restraints on the bed. I love when people come over and they see them hanging and they're like, oh shit. I love the little surprise that it brings. So I love everything about all of that. I love being a sadist. I only learned about my sadist ways.
I think I told you. You didn't even know. I had to tell you.
You experienced it?
I just knew it. As the things you just explained. Yes. I was very clear and just like, oh, I'm dealing with a sadist here. Okay.
I didn't know I was.
Yeah, I'm glad I think I'm a little happier that I figured it out before you.
Yeah, I didn't know. I just thought, it has gotten more intense. So
for those who don't know, what is a sadist?
So a sadist is someone who loves inflicting pain, consensual pain, on their partner. And so, I don't know, I just always thought I was more, like I only stayed in the more nurturing, sensual side of things. But it wasn't until I started getting that experience over there with just more intensity and pushing the intensity with us. And then eventually other partners that I realized I'm a fucking sadist. And I just like being able to
it's funny
go between both.
Not only did I tell you you're a sadist, I fully explain to your other sub that they're a masochist to like the highest extent. I've never heard of someone with such a pain tolerance than what she has. Yeah. And the shit y'all do, I just be sitting there like, wow, like I'm so glad it's not me.
She's more of a masochist than I am a sadist, so I
don't believe that. I think y'all are equal. I think y'all are a great team. Because I don't know, every time I talk to you guys about a scene that y'all have had, because just full disclosure, when y'all have your scenes, she tells me about them, and I get kind of like this mini report of what y'all did. And in doing that, it makes me feel connected to her, but also to you. And it's a lot, 99.9% of the time, it is something that is outside of my scope of practice, right, and outside of my scope of pain tolerance. And I say all that to say, she is a pure masochist and he is a strong sadist.
She brings out the best in me. What can I say? But I think that's a good point, just real quick to touch on. In you developing your list of things that you want with your partner, there may be some things that y'all don't align on, but things that you truly enjoy. And need. Some things like y'all really want to be able to beat the shit out of somebody. Consensually. But I know you're not fucking with it. So how can we still make this happen? And being open to the possibility of bringing others in for those gaps where things may not align. Like, just be open to possibly doing that. It doesn't have to be an absolute, but yeah, try it.
And in the practices that you do with her, it's like, just to gauge it for people, my 10, like where we're going hard and it's like this is fully maxing out to me, is probably her 4.
I was said 4 too. Yeah, that's a 4.
It's her strong 4. My 10 is her 4. Yeah. So what that awards us is it gives us that strong connection, because that trust is exchanged, that pain is exchanged, all that is exchanged. But you can really amplify that experience that I don't want to. It's not that I can't. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go past what my 10 is, because then I have to go to a 20, which is her 10. Right. And I don't want to have to do that. Right. And so in knowing that you can get that somewhere else, and I think it's so beautiful because in this situation, I do have a relationship with her, where we can connect and talk about what y'all do. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. But that just goes to show, we are life partners. I love you. I'm going to marry you. And I can't give you everything you want and need. Nor do I want to.
But I don't even want to do that with you. I've never been inspired to go to that level of intensity with you, because we have a different relationship. I just view you differently. It's not a better or worse thing. It's just with her, I'm inspired to do that based on their personality, how we get along, just
their
our
interests.
Yeah, it's just different. But I have no interest in inflicting pain on you on that level. Yeah. And so it's cool just, again, being clear on where we are with things.
And even just like that level of respect I have for her, for even being able to just go there and to give that to you. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything anal, everything, all the butt stuff. I love all the butt stuff. I love eating a beautiful booty. I love putting fingers in the beautiful booty. I love putting my penis in the beautiful booty. I love putting toys in the beautiful booty. I like fingers in my beautiful booty.
You do have a beautiful booty.
Thank you.
I'm obsessed.
Everything around that. First, it started out as, I guess, just a pleasurable thing that I didn't realize I'd be interested in. But I think also because there's just so much shit surrounding butt stuff.
For men?
For men and women. I think still for women there's a level of shit around that.
Pun intended.
I realized that one of my main things is I love doing taboo shit. I love doing shit that people are like, nah, that's not okay. So I could just give you a big fuck you. I'm gonna do it anyway. And it's gonna feel good doing it. So anything that's taboo, I love to do. And that's one of those things, especially for men, that's taboo. Plus this shit just fucking feels great. Again, fellas, PSA, get your prostate stimulated today. Shit. Get it fucking stimulated. Like, let's cut that bullshit. Like, we grown. If you're over the age of 25, I would highly encourage you to start today. If you're younger than 25, the button. Start with the button. Just explore that. It's just so much with that. Number one, there's nothing wrong with being gay if that's what you are, but it doesn't make you gay at all. If you have a woman as your partner and you're exploring it safely, it's just so much pleasure around that. I feel so passionate. If you can't hear it in my voice, butt stuff. Degradation. Let's move on to degradation. I love Degradation. We spoke about it already. I just love the feeling of being able to have a space where I can be someone I'm not in my normal everyday life, where I'm always usually treating people with all kinds of love and respect, to be able to go to that dark place and say some all kind of wild shit that makes you feel less than a person. I know it sounds crazy, but it's the fantasy of it. And we can keep that scene in that moment, understand what it is, and it does not at all transfer out of that space. Because what's important is aftercare. After going and doing something as intense as that, you want to debrief. You want to check in. Hey, number one, I did not mean any of that shit. Just so you know, I meant none of that. How are you feeling with what I said? What was okay? Is anything still sticking with you right now that was too much? What did you like? What would you like to do more of? And we'll go more into aftercare, but just specifically with that, when you go to more intense things like degradation, making sure that you are communicating with your partner and reassuring them this was a scene, this was a moment in time that we had. This is in no way a reflection of who I am and how I truly actually feel about you. That's very important. Yeah. But I'm glad we love doing that.
I do too.
Yeah. Face fucking. Is that a kink?
I guess so.
I think that's a kink. I think that's a kink. I love face fucking. From back in my early porn days, I
think it's a part of breath play for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I just love the power of it. I love pushing past what's normal head. Normal.
Okay, since we're here. Story time.
Okay.
I think this is one of the first few times when we opened up our relationship, and this is the first time we opened up our relationship in like that DS dynamic, that dom sub dynamic, where you had another sub outside of me, and you face fucked this girl, the sub that you were talking about with the high pain tolerance,
right,
for 40 fucking minutes. Again, if you didn't hear me the first time, he face fucked her for 40 fucking minutes. And I'm just sitting on the couch and I'm just looking at the time, and I recorded like 10 minutes of it, and I was like, we were like 20 minutes in before I recorded this 10 minutes. Now we're 10 minutes after I recorded that 10 minutes. This is like 40 fucking minutes here. It was the craziest thing. And she just took it and just fully enjoyed it for 40 fucking minutes. And I'm just sitting there like, golly gee, like there's no way in fucking hell I would have lasted that long.
That was great.
And I never felt so grateful for her in my life, because there's nothing in me that wants to be face fucked for 40 fucking minutes.
She would have went an hour.
She would have went too.
She would have too. Yeah. She would have went.
But that just, she enjoyed that. She fully enjoyed withstanding that with you, and you fully enjoyed her taking it. And it's so funny, when I asked you, I was like, y'all know how that long that was, yo? Like 10, 15 minutes. I said that was 40 fucking minutes.
I got lost in that shit. I had no idea.
Yeah, y'all was just in the zone. It was so amazing being a bystander in that.
But the only reason why I enjoyed it so much and kept going that long is because I knew she enjoyed it as well. Like if she,
and I'm not talking about sucking dick. I'm talking about face fucking.
Yeah,
deep throating, spitting up, vomiting.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was sloppy. It was
a lot.
It was intense. See, I love a good face fuck. That ties into degradation. Did we talk about degradation?
We sure did.
Okay, I spoke about degradation. CNC. We already spoke about that. Consensual non-consent. But I'm going to put y'all on to my CNC fantasy. It's really fire. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So basically, I invite my whoever, somewhere to meet me or something like that. It has to be night or getting really dark or whatever. I invite you somewhere, and like I'll be planted out somewhere ready to get you. So you'll just be walking aimlessly, and like my car will be close. I gotta plan it very strategically. My car is close, and I see you walking up the street coming to where we're about to go. I grab you up, throw something on your head, then tie you up real quick.
So a kidnapping scene.
Absolutely. It's a complete kidnapping scene. I grab you up, tie you up real quick, throw you in the back of my car. You're bound by your wrists and your ankles. I just throw you in the back of my car. You can't see shit. And then I drive off. So we driving for a little while. You don't know what the fuck we're doing, where the fuck we're going, anything like that. We drive for a while, just build the intensity.
Do they see that it's you?
They don't even know it's me. They think it's me because they know I'll probably do some wild shit like this, but they don't fucking know because I don't say
the fear
anything.
is there.
The fear is there. I don't say shit. They never hear my voice in the backseat. All they hear is just the car going. I'm hitting all the bumps, making it extra uncomfortable. Then I'm gonna pull up off somewhere, just some vacant area or wherever I know it's all good. Then I'll pull you out the backseat like halfway. You still tied up, you're still bound, like pull your pants down, you just hanging out the car. You feel the breeze hitting your ass. You know it's outside now. You're just hanging outside the car and I just fuck the shit out of you. And then I just leave you there for like 10 minutes. Don't say shit and you don't know what's gonna happen next. I might leave you. I might be 10 minutes, it might be an hour. Maybe I'll just get on my phone and go watch the Knicks or something and I'll just be on my hood or something. I'm just doing that. Who knows how long this will be. And you're just sitting there bare ass, just feeling so vulnerable after I'm fucking the shit out of you too. And then after that, I'll just throw you back in the car, panty still down. We drive back off to our destination. And then I'll remove the mask and we can talk about it. How you feel? Yeah, it's my ultimate CNC. It's gonna happen too. Many a times. Y'all might want to use that one. I'm just saying. Y'all might want to use that.
That sounds fucking insane. That sounds insane. You have a really dark, dirty mind, but so do I.
Yeah.
Because little do you know, it's also my fantasy.
Here we go. It's summertime, people. It's summertime. Nice and warm. You got a couple months left.
But I want like one of those like kidnap bands. You know, like one of them white bands with the tinted windows.
Yeah. You want to hear the sliding of the door?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear like the tire skirt like right next to me.
Yeah. That's fire. So we got that. I like my dick bit and my balls squeezed. I think that's a thing. I like it. I like nibbled on. I like it chewed pretty aggressively. It doesn't hurt. No blood or anything. Like it scratched, bit, ball squeezed hard.
That's why I keep my nails sharp.
Yeah. It's like borderline pain, but it just still feels really good. I
remember when we first started getting to this, I was just like, are you sure? It really threw me off.
I'm sure.
It was startling. Because I would chomp.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I remember one time I was squeezing, the same time you were just mentioning about that CNC and when we were traveling to Niagara Falls, I was squeezing your balls so hard and you just kept saying harder. My hand was fucking cramping. And I'm just like, harder? Like, are you sure? Like, I didn't even know if I could squeeze harder.
Yeah, like that. Need it like that. Exhibitionism, that's a huge kink of mine. I love being watched. I can be watched by anyone. I have no issues. Like, it's all good. It's all good. I just love that, whether it's at a party, even something more private with just amongst friends or whatever. Like I just love being watched. I would prefer that like you are into it as well, like whoever's watching, so I could really go there.
Yeah.
Like I love like bringing it up another 10 notches to put on the show for other people, get them excited, get them going.
Yeah.
You know, next thing you know, the whole room is fucking. I love that.
The whole room.
The whole room is fucking. The collar and leash.
How many more do you got?
I got a lot of kinks, you know.
Tell
I got
me
a lot
more.
of kinks. The collar and leash. I love that for when we go out. I love walking around the house with it. I just love having it in my hand, the weight of it, the pulling on it while I give you back shots. Choking you with it. I may not have ever choked you with it.
No.
We got something to do tonight. Yeah, I love everything about the collar and leash combo. Fisting is a huge kink of mine.
This is soft.
I have never been able to fully fist anybody. I do got pretty big hands, so I have not been able to get past like the 4 fingers here. The thumb, I've never been able to get that to where I want a full wrist. I just want to see my wrist. That's all I want. I want full fist.
You know, earlier
in
how I was
there.
talking about how it's really hard for me to find a soft and hard no. I found it.
There you go. That's okay. That's okay. That's a big kink of mine. I used to watch that in porn a lot, and I've just always been so fascinated.
I watch it like not as a turn on, but just like in awe. Like, wow.
It's so fascinating. It's hot to me. I like that. So eventually,
It's fascinating to me, but it's not hot to me.
yeah, I need that. Knife play. I like knife play too. We have like the switchblade knife that I got, and it's really sharp. And what I love about that is the fact that it is sharp, and it makes me have to pay more attention and be more careful with it, and us knowing that it's sharp and like the danger of it. But you have to be extremely careful. I am not recommending none of y'all to do this. I trust myself. I don't recommend none of y'all to do it unless you've had some kind of experience with it, whether it be with somebody who can guide you through it properly, or using knives that are not sharp at all. So don't be coming at me saying, hey, I stabbed my person up because I heard you say knife play was okay. Don't listen to this shit. But for me, I like knife play for that reason, just that edge and knowing how dangerous it is.
Yeah,
Even
it's
as I
scary.
come close to areas that could be a little bit dangerous, and
You
I'm just
scarred me before.
extremely close from the knife.
Yeah.
Where?
On my chest.
It didn't last.
It didn't last too long, but it lasted a while.
A little while.
Lasted a few weeks.
A little while. But I also like the knife because with my particular knife, you can draw with it. So you can like press a little bit and it'll raise the skin
Yeah.
for like nice little whelps that only last for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah. Gotta find that knife. I misplaced that knife.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. So knife play and dirty talk. Just filthy,
I love
dirty,
good dirty talk.
Ain't nothing like dirty talk. That's self-explanatory right there. Yeah. I really want us to record us doing our thing. I'm ready to do that sooner than later, so y'all can get a little glimpse of what we like to do.
I think I'm later than sooner, so we'll figure that out.
We'll figure that part out. So yeah, that's my kinks. Now let's give one fantasy.
You go first.
Okay.
You're on a roll.
So I realized I kind of have two that are very similar, and it brought up a theme for me that I would like to address. So going out in the world, doing some normal everyday shit, and meeting somebody and bringing them home and having sex immediately. Like we could be at Trader Joe's. We see somebody sexy as hell in the produce section. We just go talk to them. They not doing shit after this. We all get our stuff and come back to the house and just get it going like right there. Like no stoppage. I don't want to see you later tonight. I don't want to see you tomorrow. Like let's go right now. Just go do this shit right now. I love that.
It's a cool fantasy.
Yeah, I love that. Just right there on the spot. But also very similarly, I would love to just be hanging out with friends, like maybe a group of friends, and we just chilling, and all of a sudden the vibes just get there, and then it just transfers from just a hang to just an orgy or whatever.
In this moment, I hate every friend of yours that is listening to this.
Why?
They're all gonna be like, wow.
I mean, different friends for different things. You know what I'm saying? The combo is, that's to be determined. But just friends of ours, we just hanging out, and like sex is not on the table. That was not part of the plan. But all of a sudden, just everyone's feeling the vibes, and it just goes down randomly. I like natural, organic experiences. Those are my fantasies.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about for you?
One of my fantasies, I have a mask fantasy. Like specifically where I'm like sleeping and like you wake me up with sex, but you're wearing some terrifying mask of like a devil or something. And it's just like, I hope it's you, but I'm not sure. Like maybe we're like out of town at a hotel and like you went to get ice last time I checked. And like all of a sudden somebody's fucking me with a mask on. A scary mask too. Like it has to be terrifying. Yeah.
I like that.
Some dark shit.
That is some dark shit. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I hope it's you.
You hope.
And then I take the mask off and it's you.
As is. Yeah, that little element of just not being completely sure. Yeah. That's hot.
You'd have to wear a shirt though, because your tattoos would give you away.
It'd be dark.
I need to see the mask.
You'll see it, but it'll be dark enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so now we done talked about all the good stuff, all the stuff we love, all the stuff that we want to explore with our partner. So now after you got into this point in the conversation, now it's time to address our boundaries. So what are some hard and soft no's for you?
Again, this was really hard for me to figure out because I trust you so deeply. I feel like anything that you broach to me, it would just be like a yes. So it took a while to figure it out, but I took the time, I figured it out. For my hard no's, no butt stuff without warning. And I think this was a learned experience. But I just would like to know if you're gonna put something in my asshole, whether it's a finger, a penis, a toy, just a good like, it's going in your asshole. Right. That would go a long way. Yeah. Next thing would be no bruises without discussing it first. I bruise very easily. I scar very easily. And if I don't know it's coming, I'll just be more annoyed after the fact. In the moment, it may be cool, but after the fact, I'm just gonna be like, I really wish you didn't do that. And then it would just like make me more apprehensive later. So if you want to bruise me or like you want to try something that you know will bruise me, just let me know. So those are my hard no's. Soft no's, I only have one, and that's cages.
Cages.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. So my hard nose, surprised you didn't put this on your hard nose. Shit. Still ain't fucking with shit. Oh, yeah.
I think for me, that's just like a given.
It's so obvious.
It's such a given that I didn't even have to put it on there.
Well, let's just clarify for those who are listening. Shit, intense pain. Like I like a little something, like I said, with the ball squeezing or whatever. Other than that, I do not really enjoy experiencing pain. I could do a little pain when it comes to like a flogger. I'm not interested in being paddled or anything, but I like, a little flogging, a little stinging from that. No gags, anything in my mouth. Being tied up, I do not fuck with being bound. I do not like.
That's actually a soft no of mine.
What?
Restraints.
Okay, so add that to the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we've done them, and it's when we do them, it's just like, oh, okay. It doesn't do anything for me other than knowing that it does something for you.
Even the bed?
I'm not a fan of restraints.
Not at all? Not even the cuffs?
It doesn't do much for me. What it does for me is I know that it's doing something for you, so it gets me there. But for me personally, it does absolutely nothing.
See, this is why it's important to have these conversations. I did not know that. All right, good to know.
I like seeing you restrain other people.
Yeah,
that's hot.
Okay. But I don't fuck with it at all. So no tying up for me. Smacking my face, absolutely not. I might smack the shit out of you, like for real. If you smack me in my face, it's a reaction.
I've smacked him before.
When did you smack me?
Yesterday.
I deserved it, so I let her have that. That's the only time.
You deserve it.
I deserved it, and I let you have that. But under normal circumstances,
it's true. Under normal circumstances, that wouldn't happen.
I will smack the living shit out of you.
You fucking deserved it, though.
Yeah. So please do not ever smack me in my face, and no kind of degradation. I like to give degradation. I am not a fan of receiving it. I just doesn't work for me. Maybe that's unfair to some people, but fuck no. I like to be uplifted at all times. I'm just saying.
That is true.
I'm just saying. So it's not.
I'm gonna just slip up one time.
Yeah, I'm not. That doesn't do anything for me. That just makes me feel bad. Soft nose, blood. I could see there being a situation where I get scratched really deeply. You tear a little skin and some blood comes out. I could see me liking that.
It's a soft maybe.
Soft maybe. New category.
It's a soft yes. I'm not even fucking lying. It's a soft yes.
Cutting you up a little bit.
It's like, alright.
Okay. Yeah, because there's like medical play where you can get into using surgical things and all that. That's another.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, medical play. That's a thing.
Wow.
You could cut people with like not syringes. Scalpels. Yeah, that's a whole next level. Grey's
Anatomy University.
It's another some other shit. Do your research before you fuck with that. But that's an option. What was I saying?
Medical play.
I'm doing soft nose. Yeah. Soft nose. So yeah, blood, soft no. Blindfolds, soft no. I do not like being bound. I don't like my senses being taken away from me. I like being alert. I like being able to see everything, know what the fuck's going on. We talked about it before. She surprised me with 2 of our partners at the house for Valentine's Day, and just being bound, like I had the blindfold on from the bathroom to walking into the living room. We
live in New York. It was not
not that much space. Just those 3 to 4 minutes of having a blindfold on, not knowing what's going on or where I'm gonna be, and I hated that shit. I loved it because I knew you was doing the thing. I hate that shit. It doesn't make me comfortable. I can't relax. It don't feel good to me. No blindfolds.
Enough, again, I don't think we ever talked about this. I don't like being blindfolded.
We don't do that. Yeah, so
we've done it a few times. I'm not a fan.
Why you ain't tell me?
I don't know. I think because I can go with the flow of it.
But I want to know if you like it though. But that's also my fault not asking. Did you like this? See, we still learning shit too.
We are still learning. Blindfolds are just like it's like I can do it. It's fine. But it's like when you tell me, okay, I'm about to blindfold, I'm just like, okay, let's do it. But it's not like a yes, let's do it.
Okay.
It's a soft for me. Yeah. Okay,
blindfolds and restraints. Noted. And any kind of sensory deprivation. Again,
I can do it's specifically blindfolds and restraints together.
That combo
that I hate. I don't like it. I can do blindfold. I can do restraints. Blindfold and restraints, I'm just like, I'm just not enjoying myself. So it just makes it a lot. It just takes a lot of mental capacity to just get there.
But this is why we have to have multiple partners, because I love doing that shit. I need somebody that I'll tell you, I'll put y'all on, because the next one for me is sensory deprivation is something I enjoy doing to others. I hate it for myself, but with that, you can be blindfolded while you're handcuffed, for example. But the way I like to do it, I'll do both of those, and I'll throw in some headphones. So you got some music on, you're completely discombobulated. You don't know what's going on. You got the headphones on, you got the blindfold on, and you're bound. You're just stuck.
Funny enough, As I just said, I don't like blindfold and restraint as a combo, but those three together I do enjoy.
So we added a little headphone action.
Yes.
You good?
It's like taking those three out, it enhances that other sensation of touch.
Right.
So I remember we did that like very, very early on, like before you, like 53rd Street.
Right.
And I loved it. And I would love to do it again, but there's something about just the two, I'm just not a fan. Because then I can hear where you're moving. Then I can like anticipate what's next. I don't like it.
Okay, so the headphones help you come out of your head.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because when I like to do it, I like to add the face fucking to it. Face fucking while you're bound with the blindfold on and the headphones, that shit is crazy. Yo, y'all need to try that shit.
It's fun. I can attest to that.
For sure. All right, so now the big question. How would you rate our sex life from 1 to 10?
Okay. I've been nervous about hearing your answer to this. I'm assuming it's the same, but that might just be my ego. I would rate our sex life out of 1 to 10. I would rate it an 8.
And that's why I'm gonna marry you. I'm rated at 8.
I would rate it an 8 and not a 10 because I feel like there's so much in specifically our DS dynamic that we need to really engage in before it gets a 10.
Right.
Like as far as if the DS dynamic was not, Dom sub dynamic was not a part of our relationship, it would be a 10. So sex is bomb, the dick is great, everything is just, it's amazing, I love it. And there's just like this other part of it, this darker part of it that I know that we haven't fully tapped into yet with one another that I'm excited for. So for that reason alone, it's an 8.
I feel that 100%. I put an 8 as well. For me, definitely those things. I would say more consistency when it comes to more dom sub related sexual activity. So more that power exchange. I want to feel more of the power exchange when we have sex. I want more CNC sex for sure. Anal. You've been training your butt. I love that. It's happening. We're in the process. But I would like some more anal. Like I want to be up in there. I want that a regular part of sex for us.
Same.
Access to another hole. Like I would like that. Sex in public places. That's something I'm really interested in. I enjoy that. Yeah,
You mentioned it lightly. I didn't know it was that deep.
I want sex. Yeah, hell yeah. I want to have sex in public places where we can get caught. I like that. I like that a lot for sure. Even like more nasty, sloppy sex sometimes.
Yeah.
We do have that, but I would like more of that.
I think the only reason why that doesn't happen as often as we like is because we've gotten so busy recently. That's just like the act of such sloppy sex then needs a shower. Right. And then clean up and then laundry. Yeah. And it's just like more things to do on top of our really busy schedule. But I think that we could just, take one for the team. Let's just do some laundry and take a shower after.
That's it. I mean, we got the sex sheet, so we're good.
We do have a sex blanket, and I love it. It's waterproof. Highly recommend a sex blanket.
Absolutely. And then also, I know I'm the leader in our sexcapades a lot of the time, but I would like for you to initiate more. Yeah, and just like in a sexy way where it's not like a full stoppage of whatever we're doing, but like slowly ease into, just do your thing, work it to where I'm just ready. If I may not have been ready before, I would like a little bit more of that.
I think the only challenge with that is because I love sex early in the day and you love sex late at night. So when I'm ready to initiate, it's like you're in the middle of a work day and it's not that you don't want to, it's you are bound to responsibility. Right. And then when you're ready, I'm just like, I'm about to go to sleep right now.
So we got to find some middle ground.
Yeah, we've been trying to finesse that middle ground for a while now.
Maybe that 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. range, maybe?
I think I can do that.
Okay, we figuring it out. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think 4 to 7, that's your window.
I just looked at the time like shit.
That's your window right there. So yeah, I think those things would really help elevate us to a 10, 11, 12, 100.
Yeah, I'm looking towards that.
Yes.
12 out of 10.
For sure. Now let's go to the keep, start, stop. Is that how it goes? Keep, start, stop.
Keep, stop, start.
Keep, stop, start. So when we go first for that one?
Sure.
Okay. So real quick, run down this list. Keep, role play, dirty talk, butt stuff, choking, all the wild positions, our power exchange, degradation, hand jobs, impact. Love all that. Let's keep all that. Let's keep all that. Start. I did out of order. Start. Public sex, group sex, restraints. That might be off the table now, unless I got the headphones on. Anal, deep throating, because we have good oral sex, but like I feel like we can train on the deep throat.
I think so too.
Yeah. I have no idea on my last one. I don't know what I wrote. So yeah, those are the only ones for starting.
Can I try to read it? I don't know what the fuck this is.
Pain?
Let me see.
I have no idea what that
idea
is.
what this
Scrap that. And stop. I have nothing for that. There's nothing I want to stop. I enjoy everything.
It's funny. I like summed up all the restraints, just all the great sex we're having. I just summed that up into great sex. So I said keep consistent communication, because we do constantly communicate about our sex life, and also about our romantic life, and which coincides with our sex life. So keep that. Keep the frequent, great, phenomenal, amazing, sloppy, dirty, dark sex that we have, and loving sex that we have. I really want to get into tantric sex, and just that energetic sex.
Yeah.
And just like we really, that's kind of how we started. Our first sexual experience that we had with one another, we did breath play, or what is it called?
It's not breath play.
It's like breath exchange.
Yeah, breathing
where
exchange.
I inhale, your exhales, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it made me feel so just energetically connected to you.
Yeah.
And it just felt so powerful. And I really want to amplify in that space, and just really I want my energy to fuck your energy and vice versa. So I want to start that. And also anal play, and also face fucking. I think those two things are just really... yeah, just kind of a place where we dabbled in that I really want to just get full control and just go hard in.
Right.
For stop, I didn't really have anything.
Yeah, we're good. It's not.
Yeah, I have. It literally says NA and /A, non-applicable.
Right.
So I have nothing for stop.
Okay. All right. So now, identifying issues. Are there any issues that you think that we currently have that we can work on?
No. Not for me personally. I think that our issues are more in, as far as our sex life goes, I don't think we have issues. I think that we have communication that we can just get a little stronger in. But as far as an issue, I don't personally think so.
Okay.
What about you?
I say issues lightly because it's not an issue, but some that could just be worked on. Consistency with certain things that we do. I think, being very consistent. With anal, for example, obviously that's something you want to be consistent with, so you can really get comfortable.
And we've gotten better with that.
Yeah, and it just a little bit of consistency goes a long way. Also impact. I think building up your pain tolerance only comes from consistently beating that ass. It's just the only way you go about it.
Yeah.
And attention to detail, really being intentional about what we're doing and being specific. We have all these things. I just want to make sure we're not just glossing over and just haphazardly doing some shit. I want to really get into each individual thing and really pay attention to the whole process of doing it.
No, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Thank you for putting that.
Yeah. So those are the only two things I had. How about for rules? Last thing.
For rules, I think that we have these two main rules, and elaborate if you have more, which is when we're seeing other partners or wanting to grow something with somebody else, just meeting them together. We've had situations where we've met partners individually, and it's I met a partner or you met a partner without one another, and it's fine, it works, it can grow into something more, but I feel there's a slight disconnect. The sub that you have that we've been talking and praising about, you're amazing. You met them without me, like the very first time. And for me, it just kind of like created this disconnect where it took a very long time for me to just like feel connected to them. Because even if I'm not having sex with that person, I still want to have some type of like friendship with them. I want to have some type of rapport with them, because you're fucking the love of my life. And I'm not just giving that privilege to any old body.
Right.
So I want to have that relationship with them in some capacity. So a rule that we have is, if there's some new prospect, meeting them together, whether that is going to continue with us being together with that person, or if we're going to meet together, but that's going to be someone you see on your own or someone I'm going to see on my own.
Right. And we've learned, like, because sometimes we'll do a Zoom call, like, or FaceTime with them first, and I guess that was kind of like all we needed, and that's like at least that, and it was fine. But we realized, like, no, it's still different. It's another level when actually meeting somebody in person and having that physical interaction with them and feeling them energetically in person is different.
I think for me, it's like you just said, feeling that energy and seeing like, are you really worthy of having my man? Are you really worthy of me sharing, my lover with you? Yeah, and that's not something you can really get on a FaceTime. Yeah,
and I feel the same way with our partners. Even with like most of them being women, like it doesn't, like sex doesn't matter. I think sometimes like men think, or even maybe just people in general think like, oh, a man is more fine with it being a woman for, whatever the reason may be. But nah, I think a person is a person, and just feeling people. I want to make sure this person is worthy, of being with you as well. Cause I think you're on a whole nother level, like, you're top shelf. And so in order to partake, you need to be worthy of that.
Yeah, you have to be able to afford it energetically.
Exactly. So we're on the same page with that one. The only other one that I had other than that was like with trying specific things, maybe they're new things that we haven't experienced with each other, or just maybe certain things are just more sensitive for us. Making sure we're communicating, hey, I would like to try this with this other person. Are you good with that? Are you comfortable with that now? I know we had an experience with that where it was completely fine for it to happen, period. But I was just under the assumption that I would be present for that because it was a new experience for you. Yeah. And I guess a new experience for me to experience you having that with them. And so it kind of just happened. And in the heat of things, sometimes things do just happen. And so I really appreciate you just telling me what happened. And we were able to navigate it. And it was fine, like after a couple of days, but it was just jarring in that first time, like, oh shit, I thought I was gonna be around for that one. Okay. But also leaving room for, sometimes those situations do happen. Just communicate with your partner, have those conversations so that next time, all right, cool, that was not okay for me. I felt uncomfortable with it. And then, so, for next time, you make some changes and adjustments.
Yeah. And I think a unspoken ground rule that we have is just communicate with one another. Yeah. If something, say I set a rule and you agree to it, but then you're in the midst of it, and it's just like, I know we agreed this one thing, but it's shifting. And I think this opportunity is there and I would like to take it. Just letting each other know it makes a real difference. Yeah. And I think in just having that communication, even if it's something like you bring to me, I already said no. And it's just like, okay, it's here. We're in the moment. Yes, we can debrief about it later. But at least you're keeping me in the loop of things. And I think that's really important. And it changes how we communicate with one another. And it changes the connection that we have.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about a lot of things today. This has been a very full episode, full of a lot of things that you can really apply to your relationships. And so we are excited to bring this to y'all. Seriously, this is something that we get asked about all the time. So I just feel like a lot of people will be able to get value from that. So please try this out. Go through these questions. Have the courage to have these conversations with your partner, whether it's a new partner you want to explore things with, or if you've been in a relationship for a while and you realize you want more. Don't deprive yourself of the experiences that you want. Don't allow fear to keep you from having the kind of sex that you want to have. You deserve it. You deserve it. And so you should have that, so implementing these things will allow you to be able to have those experiences, and we feel really strongly about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And if this is something that you really want to explore, we want to have this available to you. So we created a document for you to download and fill out with yourself and fill out with your partner, so you can really dive into these things with you and your partner and your sex life and figure out what you really want, what you really need, and what you really desire. And if you really want to amplify that even more and you want to dive into that and talk to a coach maybe about it, you can talk to me. You can go to www.be-intimate.com and you can schedule an appointment with me, and we can do some coaching about what you really desire, what you're really wanting, whether it's individual, whether you're with a partner, whether you're with a group. We can discuss it together.
100%. I look forward to hearing those stories for sure.
Yeah.
And a few people have emailed us about things that they've been implementing. So I just want to shout y'all out real quick for having that courage to explore with your partners. Absolutely. Like I said, it's not easy. Like, we get it for sure. And so salute to y'all for doing that. Salute to all the new people for following. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for reaching out to us. Thank y'all for sharing your experiences, your opinions. Again, as much as we love to sit here and have these conversations and talk to y'all about how we feel about sex, this is nothing without y'all. We really mean it. This is a community that we're building. We want y'all interacting with us. We want y'all in the comments. We want y'all answering the questions on our stories. We want y'all leaving reviews so that we all can have these conversations together. Soon we're going to be bringing out workshops. Real quick on the workshops too. If that's something that you want, just let us know. Just, hey, I saw y'all last episode 9, where y'all were talking about a sex blueprint for your partner, and y'all talked about workshops. If y'all want workshops, let us know. These are things that we want to really start to implement so that we can bridge this gap between us on this side of the lens and y'all watching us on the screen. And so, yes, continue to follow us on this journey. Continue to share with more and more people. Helped us build this community. We appreciate y'all. We got the shirts on the way. We heard y'all. People ready for these shirts. We got the shirts on the way, right? We're working on them.
Enthusiastic pussy eater.
Enthusiastic pussy eating is on the way, along with stay tuned for the sexy.
Yeah.
So with that being said, yes, stay tuned for the sexy and check us out on another episode of Both Sides of the Bed.
Stay tuned for the sexy.